we've just won the Employer of the Year in the fitness industry for Australia. I'm Jared, I'm with Fitness Enhancement and 𝗘𝗵𝘁𝘀𝘀, and I'm happy to be here with Scott Hunt,
Hey.
our owner and CEO, just to ask a couple questions about that award and what that award entails. So Scott, I'll start by asking you, could you tell us a little bit more about the award?
Sure. So we won the Employer of Choice for the fitness industry for brands with more than 10 locations around Australia. So there's about 100 fitness brands who aren't fit that category, and we managed to take out number one out of 5 awesome finalists. We're also super proud. This is my original Nerang location. I started 23 years ago, so pretty proud that this location was a finalist for an individual location as well, which is awesome.
And how come you think Fitness Enhancement was able to win that award?
Yeah, so the winner, look, anyone in the top 5 and anything is always going to be great, but as far as why we're up there somewhere as the best, and of course in this case the winner, look, I think what we have in common with a lot of places that were up there, and those, Fernwood and Planet Fitness and World Gym and really big reputable brands out there, they're a lot bigger than us actually, is we tend to all interview each other's people a lot. So I know when I've interviewed people from there, they tend to say great things about the way they're looked after there. Clearly, if they're interviewing elsewhere, it might not have been for them. But I do know probably the common thing I hear from them is that place was a fairly honest place, fairly upfront. They did what they could. They didn't make promises they couldn't deliver on. And I think we definitely share that value as well of trying to look after our people as best as possible. Treat everyone as a team. So I think that's probably common with any business in any industry of what makes you a really good employer.
Absolutely. And so yeah, just to summarize that, basically treating everybody as a team member and treating everyone fairly and making sure that they're compensated properly for the work that they're doing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. We try to work in with that. It's obviously paying people correctly, and the big thing with us, for those of you who don't know, we do not have any trainers working for free. We do not charge any gym rent. We pay people no matter what happens. If the client's a no-show, we still pay the trainer. To be honest, they're things that I think should be common sense within any industry, but they're not that common within the fitness industry. Now, even more important than that perhaps, it's just being honest about the pros and the cons of the system. So, we have a lot of mobile personal trainers, that's what we're biggest in, and I'm very, very clear to people that probably the biggest downside of that is travel time. It's simply, if you don't like driving around, it might not be for you. So I'm honest with the negatives of it as well. So it's the whole, really tell people the ins and outs. So if they're still going, wow, this looks amazing, they're really going to be the right person because I've told them everything bad I can, which is, I think, a very transparent way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think as a trainer too, I think the transparency really helps out because then you know what to expect and you know that someone's not telling you one thing and you're experiencing another thing. Now, on that topic, I know that you've been very critical of places that charge gym rent, and you're quite outspoken on this issue.
Yes.
Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I am, but to be clear, it's more about when it's not clear and transparent as to what the system is. To me, if you put a job ad up on Seek and the person applies for a job and they get offered a job and then they're told it's $300 a week to buy that job, it's not a job, it's a business opportunity. And there's nothing wrong with a business opportunity. Just be transparent about that. Simple as that. A business opportunity comes with pros and cons. Now, we have both available as well. We're a franchise system, so people buy a studio or a mobile franchise, and it's day one when you open. Of course, in any business, you're not normally making heaps of money, but it's transparent and upfront. So the issues we see with trainers who come to us, and I would say probably half our trainers who come to us have tried gym rent or something along those lines and have found it's not the best experience and have gone on to have great success with us. The biggest thing we hear is that they weren't transparent with what the system was, and they didn't do things within that trainer's best interests, i.e. there was enough clients there for maybe 3 trainers in a small gym or maybe 10 trainers in a big gym, and they got rent paid by more than double that amount, and that's what's been, I guess, the sticking point for them. So if you're transparent and honest, put your people first, profit second, then the profits tend to take care of themselves, I find.
Absolutely. So just to elaborate on that a little bit, what do you think is different about Fitness Enhancement just in relation to having the right amount of trainers versus how many clients are coming in.
Yeah, look, it is a fine balance as to the right balance with it, and any business is going to say that problem, right? We've not only got that balance of the right amount of people, but also being largely mobile. We're spread across such a huge area. We cover over 2,000 suburbs around Australia. It's hard to get the right balance. As a guideline, we tend to basically go, we'd rather have, you know, this many trainers all happy and busy than this many trainers half booked and unhappy. For us, we make our money out of getting people busy. We make our money out of sessions. We don't make our money out of gym rent. So from a purely selfish point of view, it's a much better system for us to essentially have less trainers that are all really happy than more trainers that are unhappy. So I think that's a good thing to look at with any system you're going to is basically how does a person at the top make their money. To be a little bit blunt, that's the best way to look at it. And then work back from there and go, do I see that person's values aligning with my own in regards to how they treat their people, what health and fitness is about, and different things like that. It's a really, really good thing to look at.
Absolutely. So just with the way the system works, it plays into itself where having trainers that are taking on lots of clients and happy with the amount of clients they have, they're going to be happier and it's going to be better for you as well.
Exactly. It's a win-win. It shouldn't be a win and a lose type system. And they just want to build up as best as possible. And Jared's a great example of that, right? Because he started.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. He started one of our regular mobile PTs, and then very quickly moved up and did some studio clients, and very quickly moved up into that client care role. And it was simply the busier he got, the better it was for him financially, the better it was lifestyle for him because he could get clients back to back, and the better it was for me. Simple as that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And that's the way the system is. And it's just to be honest, I mean, I've had staff for over 20 years now. So when I started doing it that way, it was just common sense. The whole gym rent thing wasn't that common back then. It's quite rare actually. And it was just common sense. And then it's just continued on from that. And I've probably gotten more and more outspoken about looking after people because I speak to so many people who I'm interviewing or people who left the industry in general because they just didn't get treated with that basic, I guess, common courtesy and respect that everyone should be treated with.
So you spoke about the opportunity for progression, which I myself have experienced starting out as a contractor and then moving into a client care role. Can you tell me a little bit more about those opportunities for progression and how one can start out and sort of climb in their career?
So there's a whole variety of pathways down there. So Jared's someone who's more suited to going, he wants a job and he wants that security of doing it. And there's no right or wrong when I say this. I'm clearly rather entrepreneurial as a bloke who started it. Couldn't think of anything worse than a job. And it's a personal preference. So some people want to get that job, and if they're near one of our studios or our head office or anything like that, then they can do exactly what Jared's done. They can start out as a mobile PT, but we don't often see them that much. Hence, sometimes they're contractors as well because they're kind of out on their own, doing what they want when they want. But they've got that security and peace of mind of getting paid no matter what, basically. They can then progress up to one of the studio roles. It's typically an employee roles where they're looked after a lot more, and they're given set back-to-back shifts of clients. And then above that, there's a client care role where it's that, I guess, jack of all trades role where it's kind of part PT, part looking after everyone else, part supporting our franchisees, part making videos. So
there you go.
It's a little bit
of everything.
So there's that career progression for us. Other people are more specialist in marketing or NDIS. That's really part of what we do, or disability support, and it goes in those areas. So that's one side of it. It's the career job side of it, which Jared's perfectly suited to. The other side of it, some people go, well, I want to be the boss, but I don't want to reinvent the wheel, which personally that's what I love doing. And I want to get a tried and proven business, and then they go down the franchise route. And either start with at the beginning, or they start working for one of our locations and go, I want to step up and be the boss, hire trainers, have people come out underneath me, and grow that bigger business, have a true business, not feeling like I'm renting somebody else's job, which is what I feel gym rent is, but grow it bigger and better and have lots of staff under them. So that slightly more entrepreneurial person is really well suited to the franchise option.
Absolutely. And you know, it sounds like with each role you're speaking of, there's always an opportunity there.
Yeah.
Always. And you know, something I've actually found working at Fitness Enhancement is no matter what, there's always potential for growth. Like whether you're a franchisee, whether you're working in that client care role or whether you're a contractor, there's always potential clients to take on. And do you want to speak a little bit more about that and how that works with a franchisee or a contractor or client care?
Yeah, sure. Well, I guess it's one of the things that's been great for us too. Again, I've had staff for over 20 years now, so getting close to 10 years ago now, we franchised. And one of the reasons was because too often we would lose good people. So you're the sort of person who's career ambitious. We might have lost you after 6 months because you went, I want to grow my career, I want to do more. And back then, I couldn't provide more opportunities than just being an amazing PT. I was on the tools, so to speak, myself 10 years ago, still training clients, and there just simply wasn't these jobs available. So that for us, franchising, let us create more job opportunity and more growth for people. So we actually find it easier to keep good people for longer now because they don't leave to progress somewhere else. So that's definitely been a big help.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, something that people really don't like as personal trainers, or a barrier to being a personal trainer or being a franchisee, is just the fear of advertising and not being able to generate enough leads, not being able to bring enough people in the business. So as an employer, how do you find Fitness Enhancement helps out with that?
Yeah, so we do heaps with the marketing. So our people who work direct for us, such as Jared, they never have to go out and find a client. And if he did, I would be paying him for it because that's not only fair, it's kind of the law as well, apparently. So first and foremost, fair though. So, and we align people up with their skill sets. Jared's got a good skill set for that, so he could do that. Other trainers we've got are brilliant trainers, but they're massive introverts, and it'd be horrible at going out and trying to find clients. And we would never put them in that role. If you're a franchisee, it's your business. You're the boss. You own your own business. There's absolutely an element of you need to go out there and promote your business. But I'm not a fan whatsoever of the whole essentially feeling like a door-to-door salesman and going harassing people, going here's free sessions, which is kind of the whole what most of our industry tends to rely on. We go really in depth with our marketing. We're one of the biggest personal training companies in Australia, and we would spend more on our marketing to get personal training clients than any of the big name gyms would to get personal training clients. Now, those big name gyms are far bigger than us with far bigger marketing budgets, but how often do you ever see them putting out an ad saying, hire one of our amazing expensive personal trainers? They never do. The best they do is have 3 sessions with a PT, which are kind of deemed worthless. And as anyone in the industry knows, that PT gives away 3 free sessions, which devalues their time. And the success rate is typically like 5%, most people tend to tell me, of sign-ups. So we don't do that. So when a franchisee has to market their business, it's the clients, the people who've already contacted us, who've Googled whatever and seen us ranking number 1. They've rung here. We have our 24/7 hour phone line. If they ring here, one of the guys in the office, Jared, when he's not making videos, is answering the phone. They're being your salesman. They're helping sign people up for those franchisees. Not because we sold them a cheap membership and then tried to flog them expensive PT, but because they rang us wanting a good quality, long-term expensive PT. So by the time you've spoken to them, which might be anywhere from 5 to 15-minute phone call with them, you give them to one of our franchisees, and then easy for them, right?
Exactly. Once they know a little bit more about what we do and everything like that, then it's a lot easier for the franchisee to then get them to come train.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you compare that to if you've got your own independent business, which many of our franchisees were either gym rent or totally independent PT business before us. In most small businesses, phone rings, you don't answer it because you're busy with a client or you're not at work or whatever. The person goes, stuff it, I'll call the next person on Google, and you lose the customer. So for us,
there's no one else down the line there to get that call.
No, exactly. You can be paying $300 a week gym rent, and no one's going to answer your phone for you to actually help you out with that. So I guess all those little frustrations we've seen over the years, of being particular with this many years in a place, clearly I've been here longer than anyone, those little frustrations are the things we've tried. Well, I've first and foremost tried to solve in my business, made that really successful, and then gone, let's provide these opportunities to other trainers out there. So no matter what their role is, they should have those opportunities too as a part of our company.
Absolutely, yeah. And then just to go back with what you were saying a little bit earlier about, trainers doing 3 free sessions. Do you want to speak a little bit more about that and kind of how some gyms maybe take
Yeah.
advantage of trainers needing those
I'll
clients.
get to my bluntness now. Anyone who knows me knows this. Now, again, if it's clear and transparent, I don't have an issue with it. If it's seen as a business opportunity, I don't have an issue with it. But more often than not, especially if someone's young and new in the industry, then it's not that transparent a lot of times. So the way most gyms will work, you go to whatever usual big name gym, you join, you might get 3 free sessions. Let's assume Jared's the trainer. He pays $300 a week rent to run his business out of there. He then gives 3 free sessions to that person in the hope that they're going to join up. That person's gone and spent, let's say $20 a week, a $20 a week gym membership, and then he tries to sell them something that's maybe $200 a week. It's a tough sale because they didn't come here wanting something for $200 a week. They wanting something that's $20 per week. So it's a really tough sell. So Jared then goes and does 3 hours of his own time trying to get that customer, doesn't get them. Now, that's the joys of business. I get it. We all work for free when we're business owners at times. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is, though, you don't really get the perks of being a business owner. Because you can't grow that business, you can't take on staff one day, you can't start it one day, you can't even really get the big opportunities, because if you do start doing really, really well, then it's so easy for the gym to go, well, we're now going to charge gym rent to 5 more trainers, and then you get 5 more competitors coming into you. And you're all competing into each other, so it doesn't create for that teamwork environment. So that's, I think, one of my big frustrations. Compared to our franchise system, and we've got separate territories, doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, and I think that's something to touch on for sure, is just the fact that there isn't really, correct me if I'm wrong, but the fact that there isn't really a cap on, say, how many trainers can work at a certain gym and pay gym rent. Like, it could be...
I've never heard of one, to
could
be
be
honest.
unlimited,
Yeah,
right?
I've spoken to, and again, this is based on interviewing people and having been in the industry a long time. Some gyms do it really good and really fairly, and it's a good system, and I'm not knocking that whatsoever. But the vast majority, it is that no cap. The amount of gym rent they'll sell is the amount of people who want to pay them $300 something per week. But clearly there's a cap on how many people want to become members. So, PT clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you spoke about your franchises and about how they have a certain area. Do you want to touch base a little bit more on that?
Yeah, sure. So our contractors or team members, or if a mix of employees, contractors, everything, depending on what the role denotes they should be, basically. So there's no exclusivity on that. But as we said, just say when you are a regular PT, there's no financial incentive for me to take on more trainers than what I need whatsoever. So we can look after everyone together. Probably the one downside, which people who are good see it's a good thing, we get to have that bit of choice and control of going, well, we've got 2 trainers to choose from, we're going to give it to the best person. So we get to look after people better that way. But it's normally got 2 trainers to choose from. It's not normally have 3 or 4 or 5 trainers to choose from. It's normally 2 at best to choose from. And sometimes you're struggling to find a trainer for someone because everyone's busy, you can't find a trainer.
Yeah.
So the working for us role, that's how that works. The franchisee role, it's a little different. It's just buying a business. It's a serious business arrangement. You have an exclusive territory where we have to come under the franchise code, which are the franchise laws and everything. That's super strict on what we do and how we do it. And it simply goes that person's territory no matter what. And people have massive territories with us. No other franchisee is allowed to go in it. And so therefore they see each other as co-workers and teammates and business partners, I guess. They don't see each other as competitors. And tends to be the more franchisees we have in an area. So Brisbane's our busiest area. I'm more of the Gold Coast as the original person. Brisbane will be our busiest area. They tend to have the most success in working together and helping each other because they're all big enough to get that market domination. But the territories are big enough themselves that they don't feel like they're in competition with each other, which compare that to some other franchise brands. We seem to see them popping up next to each other the whole time. That can be a bad thing. So I guess franchising wise, look at, how big the territories are and again, how much people are looked after.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, having people spread out enough like that is going to create that team atmosphere where you're actually helping each other out and you're giving each other referrals versus competing with each other and trying to bring each other down.
And part of that back to the the employer of choice thing, I guess, which we didn't touch on, part of that is take the right person in the first place. If we think someone, whether, it doesn't matter what their role is, whether it be a team member or a business owner, if we don't think someone's a team player and aligned with the health and fitness values that we believe in, and they're going to work as a team, we don't take that person. So in the case of franchisees, it's probably a bit comparable to gym rent, I guess, in that respect. If we don't think they're a team player and they're aligned with what we're about, I don't care how much that person wants to pay. We don't want to do business with that person. It's not our type of person. So we're very selective of who we let into this. For me, it's literally my entire adult life's work that we're talking about here. So to me, it's not a small thing to let someone into this business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want to have good quality people, and then it's a case of, if you have good people, then you know that they're going to work together and that they're going to create a good work atmosphere.
Our job's pretty easy, right? You can't train someone to be a better person. Was probably their mum and dad's job, perhaps. But you can train them to be a better PT. That's easy. And franchisees, you can train them to be a better business owner. But if they don't have that right, I guess, values, well, we can't train that into them. It's best to just figure out who the right fit is and only take the ones who we think are the right fit in the first place.
And would you say, like, by taking away the focus on competing with each other and instead having it be more of a cohesive team working together, would you say that overall delivers a better experience for the client too?
Yeah, absolutely. It takes the pressure off the trainers for starters, your teammates, not competitors. And then for the client, that means they all get looked after. So the way we work within that is if, when, say, Jared's away at Christmas, going back to Canada, he knows someone will jump in, someone will take his clients for them, they'll all be looked after. When he comes back, he's still going to have 9 out of 10 there. There might be one who goes, I simply preferred the filling. But no one's going to go, someone said Jared wasn't very good. No one's going to do that. And he's got complete faith that he's going to come back here, he's going to have his job still here, and it's going to be looked after. So that works really, really good that way as well, in looking after clients, because the client wants to know too, if something happens, if Jared has a week off sick, they want to know they're not going to be left in the lurch. They want to know there's a whole team here looking after them as well. So yeah, it absolutely helps the clients and takes the pressure off everyone as well for that.
Definitely. And I think on the other end of it too, like with our trainers, there's pretty much anyone can come in, and I would be confident that they would do a good job covering those sessions while I'm away.
Exactly.
So it takes the pressure off of me.
Everyone's great.
There's a really good team there too.
Exactly. And it's just a matter of us going then, well, who's the right fit? Both two trainers might be great, but one trainer just might be more suited based on their skill set and their personality than someone else. But either way, they're both going to be great, and they're not going to take offence if you give it to one over the other, because there's enough clients to go around. People tend to be team players when there's enough to share, don't they?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
And with your employees, your client care team, do you find that you employ people with different skill sets to complement each other a little bit?
Yeah, so that's our other role, is to touch on a client care one, which Jared's one of our people in that, where basically it's kind of about, it's generalisation here, but about a third PT, about a third helping to run my local Nerang Gold Coast franchise, because we practice what we preach, right? And about a third with franchisee support. So within that, everyone's a great trainer. We've got one lady who's an NDIS accounts person, but everyone else is also a PT. And then within that, everyone's normally got a different skill set just from their various backgrounds within different careers and so on. And so we try to then get them really doubling down on that skill set. So there's plenty of things now that, as a bigger business, where I've got people who are way better at things than me, and that's great, because the things I'm not good at, you can't be good at everything, and that's, I think, one of the downfalls of a lot of one-man show PTs.
As much as we wish we could, right?
We wish we could, yes. Whether it be independent PTs or gym rent, you're kind of forced into trying to be good at everything, and you just simply can't do it. Focus on what you want to be good at. If you like the job option, it's being an amazing PT and nothing else. Our trainers, we can hire them based on being awesome PTs and awesome people. I don't care if they're bad at accounts and marketing, because they're not hired to do that. They don't have to touch that stuff at all. So I can focus on getting the person who's great at one thing, PT, as opposed to trying to get someone who's average at everything. And franchisees, it's got to be a skill set of business there as well, which we teach them on. But again, there's a heap of things that we just take out of their hands. They don't have to touch. NDIS registration is a big one. It's just simply not possible for people to do it without a company like us, for most people. And we just take that out of their hands and they can focus on what they're good at doing and what they like doing in their day.
Perfect. And then going back to the progression that's possible within the role, say, for example, starting out as a contractor, could you speak a little bit about the opportunity to sort of learn some of those things? Like, I know a lot of personal trainers, when they start out, they're like, I don't want to do anything related to accounts. I don't want to do anything related to marketing. Like, that's just too much all at once. Could you speak to how you can maybe even help people learn that sort of thing as they go?
I guess it depends on where their career goals are. So we have really the two career progression options. We've got the employee role, which Jared's our prime example of that. We've got that's one role, and we've got the franchisee is the other one, where people go, I want to be the business owner. Most people want to go down one or the other, but we also then get some people who go, I don't want to do any of those. They might be a uni student, they might have young kids, they might have a boring day job, and it's not realistic for them to go into PT full time, but they still want to do a bit of PT.
Just want to
That's
do it
okay too. So we've got some people who they might only do 3-4 appointments a week for us, and they've been with us for 5-10 years, some of them, and that's totally fine. I'd love it if they went full time with us. But if their goal is to just have it as I guess their hobby job, stress-free, rent-free, and just enjoy training people for some extra dollars, that's okay with us as well. So that's something where we're a little bit different too, whereas most of the industry trying to forces people into going full on into business ownership, and I don't, as much as I love that, I don't think they actually push onto other people.
So I'm hearing a lot about just flexibility with what that role might look like and what an individual wants to choose for how much they're working and what they're doing.
Look, and it's just keep good people, and that those goals can change over time. We've had plenty of people who have changed their goals and sort of go, well, we've had some people who have been full time and they've cut back to part time, and I'm sort of going, well, would I rather keep the person part time or lose them altogether? It's an easy answer to me. So if we try to look after people, and if it's achievable for us to help people get that better work-life balance, we do it. If not, well, we're super transparent what we can and can't do for them.
Definitely, and I think it's been the other way around too, where you've had people that go, well, I just want to do a couple hours, and then all of a sudden they end up loving it, and they're working full-time as a personal trainer, and they never thought that they really could do that.
Exactly, One of the most common things we have, and is actually partly why we're making this video, is so many people have been burnt in the industry before because of the things we discussed, that then when we come and say our spiel that we're doing here, they're going, I don't really know if that's going to be true. So that's why we sort of really want to see people to start out, test the water, see if we're for them, and then hopefully they have gone to a really good long career with us. But nothing's off limits with what people can do or ask us. We can't do everything, but at least we're going to be upfront and honest about everything we can.
Totally. And now, before we head off, Scott, did you have any other questions or any other things that you wanted to say about the award, or just anything else that you wanted to cover?
Yeah, honestly, I think award-wise, this is really the combination of, I guess, like I said, 23 years we've been in business now. I've had staff for 20 of those years. So it's really just a combination of everything we've figured out over the years. I keep saying we, even though I was the only one 23 years ago. It is we, it is a team effort, and that's what people get when they come to us. And there's heaps of people here now who are part of that, and heaps of people have been with us for many years over the years, who have been a part of that success as well. So they've all formed part of that learning curve to where we are now. So a huge thanks to everyone helping us get there. And then for you guys, if you watch this far, we'd just get in touch. If you'd love to come on board with us, either working for one of our franchisees or owning one of the franchises, that is the best thing to do. And if we're not for you, hopefully you've got a few good staffing tips for whatever your business is.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for that, Scott.
Thank you.